Hey guys, if you're shopping for knives and gear, make sure you check out the description of the video you're watching right now for a link to my Amazon store where I've compiled some of the very best items available, including some of my own personal recommendations. Thanks! What's going on, YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got a little bit of a different type of video for you guys. This is not going to be a full review because I have thoroughly reviewed the XM18 3-inch, 3.5-inch, the 24, and multiple variants in between. You can check all of the Hinderer stuff out on my Hinderer Knives playlist. There's almost 60 videos on there that's all Hinderer stuff, so if you're like me and you're a nut, check it out along with, this video will be in there too. This is an XM18 3.5-inch skinny slicer. It's actually a DLT Trading exclusive without a choil. That's where these come from. For anybody who doesn't know, if you ever see XM18s without the choil and it's all blade, those always come from DLT Trading. The reason that I'm showing this knife here is because I think it stands out in the XM18 line for a number of reasons. For anybody who doesn't know, the skinny variants of the XM18 3.5-inch have a much thinner blade stock. It actually comes in at 140 thousandths. We're in Spyderco PM2 territory there, whereas the standard thickness XM18 comes in at 165 thousandths. One of the most common complaints with Hinderer knives is they don't cut. I'm going to say what I usually say in other Hinderer videos. There's a wide variety of things that's changed with Hinderer knives. The addition of the tri-way pivot system, the fixing of the detent, the flipping action, blah, blah, blah. Anything that you used to hear about Hinderer knives has largely been taken care of. In fact, there's really nothing to complain about on Hinderer knives anymore except for the price. And on top of that, the whole cutting thing, part of that has been solved by the skinny variants. But in the case of this particular one, the slicer grind has always been the most performance-oriented blade shape because of how it's ground. It's ground in a way that is more efficient in slicing than the other blade shapes. Because this is a skinny and it doesn't have a forward choil, it's, in my opinion, in a lot of ways, it is head and shoulders above the other blade shapes and grinds and things. You're making use of, we'll go ahead and measure this thing for anybody who doesn't know. The 3.5-inch, which is the medium model, it's the one I prefer, 8.25 inches overall, 3.5 inches of blade and 3.5 inches of cutting edge. The reason, and I wish I had this knife here, I don't know why I don't have it here. The reason the ZT0562 Hinderer design was so popular was because of the design. It made use of Hinderer's slicer grind. The blade had the knife was a little bit taller blade, and so it dropped down to a much thinner behind the edge. It was much thinner behind the edge, right? On top of that, when the Hinderer XM18 was peaking in popularity, and it's still peaking in popularity, at the time, Hinderers didn't have lock bar inserts or bearings, right? With the tri-way pivot system, it now has bearings. So this, essentially, is exactly what people loved about the ZT0562. I mean, almost exactly. Because the 0562 did not have... It had the same grind, it just did not have a forward choil. And a lot of people are going to be quick to say, well, the height of the ZT0562 blade allows it to drop and get thinner behind the edge. The 0562 is actually between 150 and 155 thousandths thick on the spine, which means it has to drop more to get down to the same thinness behind the edge. I believe this and the 0562 are almost identical behind the edge, which means the slicing performance of this guy is really good. And I can tell you just by touching, yeah, it does get pretty darn thin down here. Open L fans are going, oh, that's what the Open L number is. Yeah, it's not an Open L. But what you're getting here with this knife is everything that makes a Hinderer knife great, right? The external stops, the durable design, the titanium frame lock, the flipping action, blah, blah, blah. Still a little bit of an issue with the slightly pokey and awkwardly shaped flipper tab in the landing zone, but the skinny, as I mentioned in my Skinner review, is much easier on your fingers, right? So newcomers to Hinderer knives, I said at the end of that video, I said the skinny XM18 3.5-inch is the one that I would recommend to people because it fits more of what people in today's knife world are looking for. But if you're looking to get the best of the best out of this knife, and by the way, if I didn't mention, this knife was sent to me by a gentleman named Brian. So thank you so much, Brian, for sending this guy along. I decided to do a separate video because these were my thoughts here. If you're looking to get into Hinderer knives, but you have been building up to this territory, this caliber of the knife world, with high expectations set by some of the amazing designs in the $150 to $350 price range, right? I mean, it used to be that you really had to spend a lot of money to get anything exceptional back in 2011, 12, 13, and parts of 2014. And then all of a sudden, you know, we had these Chinese knife makers that, or knife manufacturers that came in and started listening to the complaints of the knife community, you know, the complaints coming from the overbuilt nature of knives that were popular during that time period. They started making thinner blade stocks, the knives that were thinner behind the edge, knives that were milled out, pockets milled out in the titanium, right? So you still got all those materials, but oftentimes you got a more ergonomic knife, a more pocket-friendly knife, a lighter knife all the way around that could actually cut and slice, and it was still durable, right? We found out that we don't need hyper-thick titanium. We don't need hyper-thick blade stocks for the knife to be durable during reasonable cutting tasks. So, you know, yeah, I'm still always going to enjoy the full thickness XM18. In fact, I enjoy the super thick ones like the Fatty and the XM24. But to a newcomer, to Hinderer knives in general, I always recommend people check out the XM18 because it's such an iconic knife. Arguably, the Jurassic is one of Hinderer's, if not Hinderer's, best design all the way around, considering ergonomics, right? And it has essentially the same idea in the blade. Blade's a little thicker, but it's a little taller, but they have the slicer ones like this, and they don't have choils. But anyways, this knife is honestly where I recommend people start, who are looking to get into Hinderer knives and want to know what's the best one to start with if I really, really plan to use it. And I take into consideration, you know, how performance-oriented the blade is. This is the one to start with, in my opinion. You can start with whatever blade shape you like, but if that's where you put the majority of your value, you know, the money that you're spending on your knife, you know, if you weight it heavily towards cutting performance and everything else is secondary, but you still look for excellent fit and finish, excellent functionality, you're big into titanium frame locks, and you've always been drawn to the aesthetic of Hinderers, right? This is the one to start with. The blade is absolutely ground in a way that you're still going to have reasonable durability out to the tip because of this grind here, right? Because of the natural, you know, how you're going to cut. Generally, it's like this. The blade stays thin out, and it sort of, I mean, arguably is going to get thinner, you know, as you come out towards the belly. In fact, it does a little bit, considering where this flat is and, you know, how much room there is to drop here. And as you come up, it gets thinner and thinner and thinner. That's the idea. And it does work. It works really well. There's plenty of evidence in the standard XM18 slicer grinds, and especially the ZT0562, which is a favorite amongst many people, including myself. The difference here is that you don't have the double clutch, right? So the ZT0562 is still an excellent choice. And if you don't want to spend $425, by all means, go with that version. This is a different knife. I mean, yeah, it does flip. It's got the lock bar insert. It's got the bearings. But this knife includes a lot of extra polishings, and on top of that, it is hand-assembled, hand-tuned, and you gain the benefit of the massive modular market of parts that Hinderer has created, right? With the ZT0562, it's all aftermarket stuff, and you can kind of, you know, there's a lot of stuff out there, but you'll never be able to customize it nearly as much as the Hinderer XM18, which is a lot of the reason that I enjoy Hinderer knives so much, is you can legitimately make it your own. These guys take their own scales. It's not a standard XM18 3.5-inch scale. It's a skinny scale. It's got their own screws, their own standoffs, the pivot, but all that stuff is available. On top of that, there's a lot of different finishes. DLT Trading offers this exclusive in the working finish, which is what this is. Then the stonewash finish, the black stonewash finish. There's a whole bunch of other stuff, right? They've been making this for a while in the standard thickness and now the skinnies, and they'll likely keep doing it. So, like I said, this is a much shorter video. If you want to hear my thoughts, if you're brand new to my channel and you want to hear my in-depth thoughts about Hinderer knives in general and the plethora of different blades and styles that they offer, check out those videos, because all the information is there, in way more information than any individual could ever need, but it's there anyway. But I just thought somebody might appreciate my honest opinion on where to start with Hinderer knives if you're looking for an XM18. This guy's amazing. And on top of that, these are M390, you know? So you're getting what you expect from a good titanium frame lock. Great flipping action. You're getting M390. You're getting a blade that absolutely will cut, but is durable enough for hard use. You're getting an easy to manipulate titanium frame lock, and you're getting a knife that is easy to disassemble. Yeah, it does have a spanner side over here, but a lot of people just cut a notch and a penny. You can get the armorer's tool. You can buy a spanner bit for $2.50 or $2 or whatever. It's easy to disassemble these knives. It's easy to reassemble them. And with the tri-way pivot system, of course, you gain the benefit of choosing between bearings, phosphor bronze, or nylon, if that's what you really want. It comes with that. It comes with all that stuff. It's easy to switch out. This is a fantastic way to get into Hinderer knives, and I think a lot of people would appreciate this. This absolutely is a massive thumbs up for me. This is an awesome one. It really is, and this is the one that I think people should check out. I know this was very non-typical. Again, for anybody who's new, this is not normally how I conduct my my videos. But I figured that whether you're new to my channel or not, or you're new to Hinderer knives or not, people would appreciate this video. This is really, really cool. And ergonomically, you know, the lack of the excess thickness is really, it is helpful. You know, I thought that I wouldn't notice it that much, you know, but it weighs over ½ an ounce less. There's less overall knife in your hand, less unnecessary bulkiness, and you get that, you know, incredible feeling of control that comes with Hinderer knives. You can get your hand all the way around it. It's comfortable in a wide variety of different styles of grips, right? Whether you want your thumb up here, hold it like this, hold it like the hammer grip. I mean, you're good to go. This thing is a tool. It's absolutely made to be used. This is the best version of it in terms of performance, and it is accentuated by the wide variety of excellent attributes that this knife is showing off. But anyways, guys, I think that's going to be pretty much it. I was just really excited about this one. If you enjoyed this video, or at least found it entertaining or informative in any way, shape, or form, please leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other videos, I do have a lot of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do not like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.